All right, we are live.
Finally.
There we go. How are we feeling about the intro music for a second here?
I was vibing with it.
We were. That went up a level, down a level, and somewhere in the middle.
Get you hyped.
Back. We are back. Welcome to the Ryan Ripken Show. I guess it's episode 27 now. And hey, kind of have a full house again. Hey, so round of applause for everyone here, by the way. This is before we get into introductions again. Actually, we'll do introductions first. Hey, if you guys don't know, Brad owned the chaos. He's there. We have Rocco, just his name, Rocco there. That's also my guy. We do stuff together at Fox 45. We're not friends.
No, I was saying, like, do you want me to put my government name so everyone can find me, my address, my phone number, everything like that? Or is Rocco okay, with you? Is that cool if I do that for now on?
How about this? Yeah. How about I move on to the next person? How about this? Yeah, and we got Zach here, by the way.
Rocco trying to steal my spotlight before I even get introduced.
I know. At Zach Ballinger.
Yeah.
At Zach Ballinger. And then I'll introduce you. There is, of course, the man, Ryan Ripken.
The Ryan Ripken.
At Ryan Ripken, where the show's after. Well, hey, everyone. Welcome in. We got a lot going on for this night. We have a guest, and if you heard of him, he's a great kid, good kid. Dean Kremer is joining us within this hour, so that's going to be a lot of fun.
No way.
I know. How about that? Stop traffic.
What?
Stop traffic, everybody. It's going to be a night.
Yeah, so we appreciate it. So anyone new to the channel, please, if you like what we're doing, please like and subscribe. Dean will be on. We'll talk about a multitude of things. Obviously, we're going to ask the hard-hitting questions as
Extremely
always.
Hard-hitting questions.
But we have a lot other topics to cover. Specifically, if we're going to go that far right now, we go with our what's spicy, and we do have some spicy moments that we think you should hear about. We'll dive into because it's Thursday night. That means the next week of the NFL season is about to kick off, and we're obviously going to cover the Ravens. They got a big divisional matchup against the Brownies coming to Baltimore. We'll have our 8-minute picks. We'll talk about a couple other games that we think we should do. Am I missing anything specifically, Brad? I know you're way better at this than I am.
No, you're good. You did a good job. You're a good kid too, Ryan.
Whoa. How about that? And Sherry, we are psyched for this Sunday game as well. And we got a lot to dive into.
Fired up.
With that, having said that, gentlemen, why don't we just dive into what's spicy, because we want to make sure we have enough time for our guest coming on. But hey, first thing, Bill Belichick is spicy, but for what reasons, Zach?
I think the Patriot way might be coming to an end, and even Bill Belichick, the man himself, is not immune to the stress that is coaching Mac Jones. And take a look for yourself at the Walk of Shame hero, Bill Belichick. The male body at peak performance.
Hey, the guy is what, 63, 64, something like that?
Okay, so can someone give me a little bit of context?
Nobody has any context. We have no idea where this is at. We don't know if he would just if he just got himself a hooker and he's just leaving after a crazy bender one night. Nobody knows. Nobody knows if he took it or if this was over the summer.
We have no context at when or where this happened. All we do is have a random video of all of this,
and it was just eating it up.
Yeah, it was released this morning, or it was, I guess, leaked this morning, whatever you want to call it. And obviously, Michael Babchick from Mad Dog Radio put it out there on his Twitter, and then it just went ballistic. It went crazy. I don't know where Mike Babchick got this from, but it has just been all over. I mean, Pat McAfee had it on his show. They don't know where it came from either. It is hilarious. That's all I know.
Rock, opening thoughts here.
I don't really know what to say, because like you guys said, don't know where it's from. Don't know any of the context. Could it have been obviously no one from his camp posted it or from his family, because the first thing I thought of was all right, he's a shirtless dad taking out the trash. My dad's done that all the time. It's it's a normal old guy thing to do.
do that.
I don't
do it
think
all
that-
Belichick doing? Why did that person post this? Maybe because I really truly have no clue, and I want to get to the bottom of this now.
I'm just could have gone my whole life without seeing Bill Belichick shirtless, and that ended today, and that I'm kind of disappointed in that.
Hey, you know what? Why can't we just let the guy live? I mean, it
Come
doesn't.
on, man.
Who cares what he's doing? I mean, yeah, you're talking about taking out the trash or whatever he's doing, or maybe it was a long night. It happens. Not that I ever have had a long night myself, but have I had moments where shirts tarps off is actually like we want to refer. I want people to understand when we talk about shirts off on this program, it is going to be tarps off. So
He's also 71.
Tarps were off for
You said
Belichick.
63.
Well, you know what? Good for him, but not good for the Patriots. It's not been that type of year for New England. Not that anyone down in the Mid-Atlantic region is really feeling bad for the Patriots right now. It's been a rough one. They had another rough loss at home, had a chance to tie the game late in the game. Ball deflected, interception, whammy. Pats lose another game.
Don't you love it?
Hey, by the way, can we just talk about that for a quick second? That the Commanders, beat the Patriots, and there's that rumor flying around that maybe Belichick will be pursued by the Commanders. You guys buying that hype?
No chance.
Not a chance. No way. There's been some things circling around. I guess there was a clip flying around there about how Belichick also was kind of standoffish about. There was some dumbass reporter asked him about his job and if he thought it was on the hot seat, and then all he said was that the same thing that Bill Belichick always says, I'm on to the Colts, and which is tonight, by the way, probably the least exciting Thursday night game that we'll probably see all season long. It's going to be the Patriots and the Panthers. But look, at the end of the day,
no, Brad, that's on that is the prime time game on. You're right, though. It's the only game that you can watch in that window. And that's one that I don't know if I'm going to set my alarm for. I will. I got fantasy purposes. But same reason. That's not. Where's that game again? That's in Germany?
Yeah. That's the Germany game. You're right. Yep.
Woof.
Yeah, tonight we have Bears Panthers.
We're going to talk about that as well.
Even better. Yeah. Even better.
I've been going back and forth with this before we get into this. That's Ravens related spicy topic. But do I start the Bears defense here tonight? Zach and I have been going back and forth for a while.
I'm doing it, so I told him to.
That's a good question. Actually, I was going back and forth between the Bears and the Raiders. So whatever you guys want, I might go with.
I'm riding the Bears defense.
I mean, I will say the Raiders, it's different vibes out there.
I've given you no bad fantasy advice yet.
Stop it. Rocco's been shaking his head for the last 10 seconds.
No, I'm just saying, like, you could do one of those where if the team's available on the waiver wire, you just pick up whoever plays the worst team in the league. Like,
that's what I've been doing.
Defense.
That's what I've been doing.
Defense.
Yeah, it's a great strategy.
Yeah.
So that's where we're at right now.
That's the thing. So the Raiders play the Jets. So it's like, do you go with the Bears who play the Panthers, or the Raiders that play the Jets?
I think the Raiders that play the Jets, Brad, especially after Robert Saleh's pleading the fifth comments on Zach Wilson, he's going to be the starting quarterback kind of going forward.
Oh shit!
I plead the fifth too.
All right, I'm starting the Raiders.
You're starting the Raiders.
My advice would be wrong. My girlfriend asks me for advice all the time. I always steer in the wrong direction. So Godspeed to you. I hope everything works out. But I am not taking any blame if your team just absolutely collapses this week. I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, it's already kind of collapsed anyway. I don't know how I've won 3 games in a row because most of my team is now injured and out for the season, but it is what it is.
Well, hey, so we got up until 8:15 is when that kicks off. So I'm going to procrastinate as this show goes on. But yes, let me know. Should I start the Bears? Do I start another defense like the Bengals? But then that means I got to root because we got our guy CJ Stroud balling out there. We're going to get more into him. But hey, talk about a team that's building momentum and winning, the Ravens, right? And Roquan Smith, Brad, recently just had a conversation talking about being traded to Baltimore. And for a lot of reasons, you were the one we were talking about this. Why don't you tee this up for us?
Yeah, so he was interviewed by I can't remember his name now. Somebody from Sports Illustrated, and so it said some interesting things. Here's basically the quote. He said that when I just think about it from this perspective of having opportunity to compete for 1 year in and year out with the talent that we have, makes me so happy just knowing that my career is not going down the drain. And there was some, I guess, I don't know. I feel like if you are a Bears fan, you have to just understand, like, yeah, the team sucks. And like, do I blame Roquan for feeling this way? I don't think that you do. I think, in my
You
opinion,
can.
you look at this and you're like, well, the Bears should have paid him. I mean, like they paid Sweat, right? And maybe he would have stuck around. Who knows? But at the end of the day, Roquan got paid, and he's also on a Super Bowl contending team. So when asked a question, he just answered it truthfully. So I don't think there's anything really that anybody should be upset about here. I think that's Albert Breer, by the way, was the one who interviewed him. So, but nevertheless, I just thought that a lot of people are blowing us out of proportion, and I just don't think that it really needs to be.
I mean, like, what was he supposed to say? That he's upset that he got traded from a team that lost the most games in the league last year? Like, he's on a Super Bowl contending team. Like he said, they didn't want to pay him. He's now competing year in and year out for a Super Bowl. Chicago, I don't know where hope is for Chicago in the next few years if they don't figure out the quarterback position. So, yeah, I mean, what is he supposed to say? I miss Chicago. I wish I could go and be playing on that defense right now. I mean, yeah, of course he's going to say he's happy he's here.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think for a lot of people personally, when you get to a certain point, you want to when athletes go to the league, it's exciting because your dreams becoming a reality. And usually what people say is, you know what, get that second contract. And once you get that second contract, you really can focus on, well, what can matter most? And that is trying to win a Super Bowl. And that might sound backwards, but for a lot of guys, that is a reality of it. And especially in football, right? Like that security matters for a lot of people. So having said that though, man, doesn't that just hurt though for the Bears? The fact that you let him go and seeing what you hoped he would be for your franchise, transform your entire unit to go to Baltimore. And now he's on a defense, which he is leading, where this whole team has just been taking off. And statistically, this isn't us just blowing smoke up anyone's asses. The Ravens defense statistically has been better. And if you watch them, it is a byproduct of Roquan Smith being right front and center in the middle of that defense.
Well, and he was the best middle linebacker in the league before he got traded. So it wasn't even just that, like, there's a reason they call it team sport, and Roquan could only do so much with that team. I mean, the Bears defense was actually far better with him than without him. And so to your point, I agree with everything that you had said, but it's just like one of those things. Well, he was already that dude in Chicago. It's just, it wasn't that he leveled up necessarily here. It's just that now he's surrounded around players that are have just as much work ethic and are just as talented as he is. And so they're all gelling together now, it's pretty awesome to see.
Yeah, Rock, I mean, you've been able to go into the locker rooms. You've been covering the team during training camp. I mean, you can just probably see and sense that Roquan just loves being a Baltimore Raven.
I think Roquan loves being a Baltimore Raven. You can see that from the outside, but you can also see that the Baltimore Ravens love having Roquan Smith on their football team and leading the way on the defensive side of the ball. This is a guy that with the Bears, and I'd love to see the video if they had video of the interview, because I think Roquan is just a very happy guy until he puts the pads on and goes out there and wants to rip your head off on the football field. And then he's terrifying. But for Roquan to come here to negotiate his contract without an agent and to get a record-setting deal at his position, and then to be the leader of this defense, everybody loves him. I mean, how can you not? And I mean, the guy, he just gives off that passion, and it's contagious to everyone else around him. But with that, I would love to see the context if there was like a video interview of it, because I don't think Roquan's necessarily taking shots at the Bears. He doesn't seem like he has a problem taking shots at teams week in and week out, like lock the doors and don't let him out until we want to let him out. But I think that's all in good fun. For him, as far as that goes, I think it was more like, I have a second life now. I was on one of the worst teams in football, and you look at them now, they go out and pay Montez Sweat for some reason when they could have paid this guy, and now he's on one of the best, like you just touched on. So for Roquan Smith, I think it's a second life, a second shot, or a first shot at a Super Bowl, and I think he's really loving being here in Baltimore, and you could tell by what he's saying.
Well, yeah, and so let me just go ahead and reiterate here. So this is here's the graphic of the quote from the article itself, and before that, he said, "Man, it's pretty crazy thinking back to when I was initially traded from a winning locker room. It was a bittersweet for me just knowing Chicago, and rightfully so." So like I felt like he gave Chicago, some love. He said, "But if I would have stayed there, honestly, it would have been able to compete. It wouldn't have been able to compete for a title anytime soon. And then when I came over here, meaning Baltimore, it took me a while, like a couple of weeks, to really realize how stacked this team was, as well as how many good people there are here on this team and how they just bring truly good people. I don't think it's necessarily about Chicago or Chicago fans in general. I think it's more or less just like the organization and where the team is at right now. And you just don't see them really turning it around anytime soon. So again, just can't fault Roquan for that whatsoever, in my opinion.
No, not at all.
No.
And this is a guy that cried when Robert Quinn got traded, his teammate. He was so passionate about it. And he still goes back to Chicago in the offseason. You see his Instagram story. So I really don't think it was a shot at Chicago, like you just said, Brad.
Yeah.
No,
Agreed.
we talked about players. I mean, that's what we're talking about, the deadline. With even though the running back shelf life is shorter, but Saquon Barkley, super talented player, and it's going to be another year of him not having a chance to compete. Like that goes into players' minds. When you get to where you want to go professionally, it starts to come back. Besides you taking care of yourself and your family, then it goes to why you play the game. And you play the game because you want to win. And that's why you see people leave organizations and go somewhere else and have life. The prime example for Orioles fans out there, Aaron Hicks, that he was a toxic environment for him in New York. It ran its course. And then he comes to Baltimore, and all of a sudden everyone's like, well, why are we signing him? In different case, Roquan Smith obviously still at the top of his game, but point being is guys can be rejuvenated when players can be rejuvenated when they go to different situations. And for Roquan, I think he's just saying he appreciated his opportunity. He loved that they gave him a chance, but now for his career, this is that energy that he was hoping for. And man, he's playing with it, and this defense is playing with it.
I mean, who wouldn't want it after everything with Ray Lewis and everything? Who wouldn't want to be the middle linebacker of the Baltimore Ravens? And I mean, you see guys talk about that, about just what playing defense for the Ravens means, and with the history behind it, where that's why we see so many players like Jadeveon Clowney, like Kyle Van Noy. They come here and their careers go on a different path. Now, like you said, Brad, Roquan was a stud before he got here. That didn't change.
Stud.
But it's the mentality of Ravens defense that I think a guy like Roquan just loves.
Yeah. Well, my next question was going to be, Ryan, to counter that a little bit, right? Like looking at Montez Sweat, who got guaranteed $72 million over the next 4 years. It's interesting to me how certain players view things, right? Because you have Tom Brady, who would be more than willing to redo his contract to make sure he keeps certain players, or you have Roquan that's like just pumped to be on a winning team and while still getting paid. Maybe he could have gotten paid more, but I just think that there's differences, and you probably can speak to this just because you're from that world of just like, is there two different types of guys? Is there guys that like don't mind getting paid, but they also want to win? And then there's guys that just, I don't care what team I'm on. I don't care if we go 0 for 17 or whatever, as long as I get my paycheck. Like that's all I really care about. Like, is there two different guys like that, or what are your thoughts on that?
So that's a good question, because I want people to understand, if you go through your life and your job and whatever you're doing, it's a job, it's a business. And sports, the world, the industry, it's a business. So guys are trying to maximize, because in a second, their career can be done. And we've seen this. As soon as the shelf life runs out, teams have to make decisions, and some organizations handle their business better than others. And it's the same thing that goes with players. Some players believe that I'm just going to go out there and I'm going to try to win, and then that's going to take care of itself. And other people, it's in the back of their minds, whether they say it or not, I need to play well because my career is on the line, right? Now, you talked about a guy like Tom Brady, where Tom Brady then established himself, and then all of a sudden he realized that his window to win was he needed to take a pay cut because of where he was at his career. That's a hard thing to ask for other players, because they don't know when that next contract is. So I don't necessarily want to say that there's two different types of players, if this fully answers the question. But I do think some players are more heightened to what they exactly want when they get to that point. And to be honest, some guys you play for so long, they might lose the burning desire to win, and that's a whole different discussion. But guys are trying to pay, and that's why people get so frustrated with contract negotiations. Darius talked about it, Brad. Actually, I had him on the earlier podcast.
Yeah.
He said he never blamed any player for trying to hold out for what they deserve because their opportunity could never come about again for that. So Sweat, no one was going to offer him that money, probably. It was such a good deal. Why wouldn't you take it?
Yeah.
Right? But now, having said that, you're locked in and you understand that's one avenue. Now, how quickly do the Bears build around him? And realistically, I don't think that that's going to be within a year or two. That might be towards the end of that contract. So if that answers that.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Do we have any other thoughts, concerns, questions?
Questions for the class.
Questions for the class? Well, hey, appreciate it as always. We got so much more to dive into. Yeah, Rick, I actually will touch. I'll just want to circle on this real quickly. Yeah, I mean, if you don't want to go win, that was one thing. You don't want to win. Yeah, that's a problem. Why are you playing? You grow up playing a sport to win.
Mhm.
But what I try to tell people, like going in the minor leagues, the team could lose 120 games, 140 game season in the minors. But if you hit 300, you're going to keep moving up. You might not be on that team that sucks or that is doing well. If you move up, that's all that kind of matters in that sense. And that has to rewire players' brains. But then once you get to the big leagues, once you get to the highest level, they care about winning. But and usually my philosophy with this is if you're going out there and your goal is to help the team win and you're busting your ass and you're doing your part, the results will take care of itself. But when you're on a team that's losing a lot and then you're like, oh shit, we know we're not going anywhere. Now I truly have to play for myself. That is one of the hardest things to do. Nothing's worse than getting your ass kicked in August and you are out of any playoff race and you're sitting there going, man, I got 2 more months of this shit. And now I'm hitting 240. Well, I'm trying to keep my career going. Oh, great. We lost by 12. Okay, I had a good game. Can I replicate that? That shit's hard. And I hate being so honest with that, but I think that is a true point.
Yeah. No, I think for sure, especially with guys towards, like you said, the end of their careers who are or trying to get their career started and stick in the majors where it gets to a point of, okay, yeah, I want the team to win, but if I get 3 hits today, it happens. Like whatever happens to the team happens because I have to put food on the table for my family.
Yeah. I never thought about, I used to, when we talk about getting emotional and Rocco, making all the outs and maybe bunt singles. I used to get so emotional. I get so pissed losing. I still did when playing in professional ball, but it's because all I wanted to do was win. And then when you move up, you realize there's other factors that go into it, but losing sucks and winning cures a lot, which obviously Roquan Smith has seen that. His whole viewpoint has changed in his career. Hopefully that leads the Ravens to Super Bowl this year, Super Bowl next year. We dove into that. That was fun. That was neat. Now let's do a little bit of predictions. Brad, do we want to start with the Ravens preview or we want to go into our quick picks?
Let's go ahead and do the Ravens preview real quick, and then we can get into everything else because Ravens really is the only exciting game that I've seen so far on the schedule. It looks pretty brutal everywhere else. So we got Ravens favored by 6. Cleveland's coming into town on Sunday. I was going to say that this seems like quite the spread, but I said that last week when the Ravens were favored by 6, and then they went ahead and just beat the shit out of the Seahawks. So I'm not going to say that this week. However, I do think that it should be a closer game. Now, having said that, the Ravens hung 28 points on arguably one of the top 5 defenses in the league. So I think that we could see some of the same. Deshaun Watson's supposed to play this week. He didn't look great last week. I think that, in my opinion, Cleveland Browns are in for a really long Sunday if the Ravens are on their A game this week. What say you?
Which one of you guys would like to dive in? Zach, Rocco, or Zach?
I'll take this over. It's going to all come down to the Ravens pass rush. The Browns have their left tackle is out. Rookie Dwan Jones is moving over. Now they have a backup at right tackle. Rookie playing left tackle who really didn't play left tackle in college. Oweh, Clowney, Van Noy, guys like that, if they can continue to set the edge and just continue to get pressure, allow Pierce, Matabuke and them get pressure up the middle, Ravens by a million. Then that's what happens.
By a million.
By a million. By a million. But yeah, I think the pass rush, and it's going to be a defensive game. And I've said "and" like 17 times.
Yeah, why don't we work on using a different word by "and"?
Seriously. I could feel it.
As well
as the offense for the Ravens needs to show up, like Brad said, and continue to put together this one step in front of the other. Every week, it seems like it gets cleaned up a little bit more. They move more towards what they think this offense can completely be. They're playing well in all three phases of the game right now. And I think that's the biggest difference from now and the beginning of the season is they're all playing as a unit. I've touched on this before. And when they continue to play as a unit, you could see the Ravens win this game by 10 plus.
Yeah. The only team that's going to beat the Ravens, I think, are the Ravens at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Hey, Rocco, because we touched on it a little bit last time with the live show. Missed you in here, by the way. We'll have you back. Rocco's going to try to be in here Monday with the guys. Maybe you can help instead of Zach trying to set up the damn mic stand.
It was so bad.
Brutal. One of the worst experiences.
Okay, hold up.
If you yell at me like you yell at him, I will smack you.
It was – he also couldn't get it. So, like, there was a big struggle.
How about the cord that goes into the soundboard?
That also happened.
Oh, really?
That was not part of it. By that point, we had already gone through a lot. A lot had already gone down by the time.
There's a lot of
we got into the studio a little late, and efficiency was not the word to describe what happened.
But he likes to blame Ryan for all this, which is fine. And I'm going to
get it either.
And I'm going to use one of your favorite words. So back to it. And Rocco, your opinion. You were with the Ravens, and you were in the locker room, and you got to interview some of those guys. They're confident on the defensive side, no matter who they're playing against. But I think a curious line, and you correct me if I'm wrong, was can they bring it every single week? Because they have done it against the big teams, but now it's going to be even more crunch time against the division rival.
Not only that, Rip, I think that this is very much a statement game for the Ravens because these are the best two defenses in football statistically right now. Total yards, the Browns lead the Ravens in total yards allowed. And I don't think the Ravens like seeing that number 2 next to their name. They'd like to see the number 1 like they do in points against because 13.6 is simply incredible. 9-10 games into the season, and the Ravens are just firing on all cylinders. Mike Macdonald is putting these guys in positions to succeed, and that's why you see the Kyle Van Noys being so successful, Jadeveon Clowney's. Mike Macdonald's he's pulling the strings, but these guys are executing at such a high level. And if you don't think that they are going to just try to swarm Deshaun Watson and build off this performance, this is a group offensively and defensively that is just not happy and not satisfied until they're holding that Lombardi trophy up on the stage. And you can really feel it with the offense as well. But like the Roquans, the Patrick Queens, after every single game, they're saying the same thing. Like, yeah, it was great, but still not satisfied. Yeah, like we want to make a statement. Yeah, we want to do this. Roquan with his fantastic sound bites. So I think they're going to come out and just try to make a statement against the Browns. They already beat the snot out of the Browns at their place. You think they're going to get beat at the bank? You know, it's a possibility, but not a good one. I'm telling you what, they're going to be coming out firing on Sunday against Cleveland.
Bank's been loud recently. Bank has been loud recently.
Very.
Yes. It has been loud, but here's the thing. I mean, we talked about the Ravens actually of all the teams that have been playing the teams above 500 or at 500, they've done an exceptional job. I think they have the most wins in the league when it comes to teams with records over 500, I believe. And if you look at their remaining schedule, that, hey, if you believe that they can beat these teams, they only have one team that's below 500 the rest of the way, and that's the Rams. And the Rams can play a solid game. It's contingent specifically on Matthew Stafford if he plays. Carson Wentz is now a Ram, by the way. Woo! But, guys, I mean, the next 2 games specifically, Browns-Bengals being lined up. This is a really – we can talk about that they have to go and play teams like the Chargers and the 49ers and the Jags. But the reality is coming to Baltimore, and now Deshaun Watson's healthy for this game. And I'm not saying you can buy that he's the same player or you can sell it, whatever.
He's no PJ Walker.
PJ Walker wouldn't have lost it. Well, he did lose the game.
Yeah.
But point being, they're going to get their best shot because they felt like that they were embarrassed up in Cleveland.
Ravens are going to get everyone's best shot now.
Two division games in 4 days is big. Health is definitely going to be key. Getting out of the Browns game healthy, whether it's a blowout win or not, you want to stay healthy for this game going into Cincinnati, because we talk about getting the Browns at their best. You're definitely going to get Cincinnati at their best, whether T. Higgins plays or not. Joe Burrow's healthy. He's good to go now.
Yeah, seeing that. The T. Higgins and Jamar Chase are both a little bit banged up. It seems like T has a hamstring injury. I just have a feeling if they miss this game, they're not missing that game against Baltimore.
No.
And that one for the Ravens, if there is 2 games, I know that they both matter. But beating the Bengals, to me, then that keeps the head-to-head, the tie, or you have the advantage. The Bengals are surging. Cleveland, I think, is going to hang around.
Yeah.
But I mean, hey, if you had to have 2 games in 4 days, at least have them at the bank. But we need the bank rocking. It's going to be a blast.
Need the bank rocking.
And we got a lot coming for that week, by the way. Rocco might not know about it, but we got a lot going on for that week. So stay tuned for everyone. It's going to be a lot of fun as we move forward. Anything else specifically, Brad, for this Ravens-Browns game?
No, let's go ahead and move on to the picks. So if you guys are new to the channel, we just started this last week where we're trying to get our picks. Each pick is in 40 seconds or less. We call it the play clock picks. Rocco, I'm going to ask you to sit this one out so the 3 of us can just knock it out real quick for the sake of time. We do have Dean Kremer that's going to be joining us in about 14 minutes. So let's go ahead and get into it, guys. Hit that stop clock, Zach, and let's go ahead and start right now, starting with the Carolina Panthers at Chicago. Chicago is favored by 3.5 points. I think I'm going to take the Chicago Bears tonight, and the only reason that I'm doing it is because of their defense and really nothing else.
Are we thinking the same thing?
Yeah.
Bears win, Bears defense start?
Yeah.
I think we might. Chicago Bears. I think we're both on board with the Bears getting the win. The battle of the number 1 overall. Actually, Chicago. I guess Chicago wins either way tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah. Next up, we got
DJ Moore revenge game.
Next
30 seconds. Here we go.
Let's go.
All right. Next up, we got Colts at New England. The Colts are favored by 2 points. This is another one that's just going to be a shitty one in Germany. I'm sorry, German football fans. It's just not going to be a great game for you. But nevertheless, you got football in your country now. So nevertheless, Colts, I think I'm gonna take on this one as well. They're only favored by 2.
I would take that.
Yeah, I'm just throwing
Minshew magic.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Colts as well. They seem like they have their act together idea more. Weird things happen with the Patriots, but they're finding more ways to lose than win. Give me the Colts.
Oh, 38 seconds. There we go.
Next up, we got Browns, Baltimore Ravens. We just got done talking about them. Ravens are favored by 6 at home. I don't think that this is going to be particularly close because of what we're seeing out of that Ravens defense. And if the offense is playing like they did against the Seahawks last week, this should be an easy win for the Ravens. What do you guys think?
If the line was Ravens by 1 million, I'd alternate spread to Ravens by 1,000,001. That's how confident I am.
I think the Ravens are buzzing. I think it's going to be a gritty AFC North game, but give me Baltimore at the bank. They get a big win and move on to Cincy.
Perfect. Next up, we got Texans at Cincinnati. This is Cincinnati's favored by 8. I feel like that's a bit too much. Look, I know the Bengals are on fire right now, and Joe Burrow is looking like old Joe Burrow. We've seen this from the Bengals year in and year out now, where they have this slow start and then just ramp up and really get hot. But as you guys mentioned, T. Higgins is out. Jamar Chase is also a little bit banged up. The Houston Texans are better than advertised, in my opinion. C.J. Stroud just went bananas last week, throwing for 470 yards. I think the Bengals still take this, but I don't think that they cover.
Yeah, I think the Texans, I think T. Higgins, it's up in the air, but lean towards if he has a hamstring, he might not play. The Texans defense is solid overall. The Bengals, I think you're right. I think it's close, but I think Cincy wins this game at home.
Play clock violation, but I'm taking Cincy.
I talked too much on that one. Next up, we got
delay game, not play clock.
Well, delay game, yeah. Next up, we got 49ers, Jacksonville Jaguars. 49ers are only favored by 3. And I got to tell you, the way the 49ers have been playing, it's been really rough to see that. They are coming off of a bye, but Jacksonville, I think, takes this game, even though they are not favored to win.
Yeah, I think I'm going to take the 49ers. They have to bounce back, right? They have to.
San Fran, Debo. Hopefully Trent Williams is back. No way they're losing 4 games in a row, right?
No chance.
San Fran on the road, baby.
Boom.
All right. Next up, we got Saints at Minnesota. Saints are favored in this game. I am a believer in the Dobbs train now. Just seeing what we saw last week. Look, the spread here isn't that big. You probably could flip a coin. I'm going to flip the coin and go Minnesota Vikings here. I just would love that feel good story to happen, and that's really the only reason why I'm taking the Vikings.
Well, do you believe in Creed yet?
No.
Well, guess what? I do. And the Vikings, since they've had it, they keep winning games. Texas won the World Series. Give me the Vikings in this one.
I'm boycotting the Saints because they don't give Alvin Kamara the ball on the goal line. So give me the Vikings.
Next up, we got another really shitty game. Like this is how this week's going to go. Packers at Pittsburgh. Two terrible offenses. This is probably going to be a 3-0 game if I had to guess. Packers are not favored in this one. Pittsburgh's favored by 3.5. And that's really because it's just a home game. I don't know who to take here, but because the Pittsburgh Steelers have just somehow figured out how to win games, they're 5-3, and I really have no idea why. I'm not going to think that they can't win this game either, so I'm taking the Steelers.
The Steelers, for the first time all year, will outgame their opponent, and they're going to lose.
Wow, that'd be neat. That'd be neat for Ravens fans, but I'm going to take Pittsburgh because the weirdest things happen in Pittsburgh, no matter what. Pittsburgh just finds ways. You look up how the hell did they win? I think they have one of those games again. They pull it out against the Pack.
All right. Titans, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Titans are at Tampa Bay. Titans are favored by 1.5. Another coin flip type of game. But man, I really like the way that Baker Mayfield played that game last week against Texans. He seems like he's trying to, and the team itself is trying to figure it out. Look like they're feeling each other. So I think that the Bucks take this one, even though the Bucks are favored by 1.5. So I take that back. I think the Bucks are going to take this one. They more than cover this one.
Yeah, I think I want to lean Titans, but the Bucks front seven is now starting to really get back to what they were doing to stopping the run. If the Titans can't run this ball, I think it's going to be a tough game for them. Give me the Bucks at home.
Give me Mayo boy.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Give me Mayo boy.
Mayo boy.
Mayo time. That's Will Levis.
Will Levis.
Oh yeah. Will Levis. Yeah. Well, and that's just it, right? Like if the Bucks stop the run, then I have Will Levis in my fantasy team because Kirk Cousins now is no longer there.
Gotta love it.
I digress. Atlanta Falcons at Arizona Cardinals. Falcons are favored by 2.5. Another one.
Kyler Murray.
Kyler is back, but Cardinals are still not favored in this game. Hey, you know what? I'm taking Cardinals.
What do you got, Zach?
I'm taking the Falcons.
Yeah, you know what? Despite Bijan Robinson being the most expensive running back to not get enough touches, I still think the Falcons are the better team. Give me Atlanta in this one, but I do think Arizona gets more of life with Kyler Murray, even though apparently Call of Duty's coming out too, which that's a whole other thing with Kyler Murray.
Yes, it is. Lions at LA Chargers. That is Lions. This is actually, I think, going to be a good game. Lions are favored by 1.5. So aside from the Browns Ravens game, I think this one's going to be one that could be exciting. Could see a lot of points out of this one. I'm going to take the Lions just because I just don't like what I'm seeing from the Chargers. Yeah, they beat the Jets, but big whoop. I'm taking the Lions.
Yeah, give me the Lions.
You know,
fighting Dan Campbell's.
Yeah, you know what? I was saying I like what the Chargers are doing, but give me the fighting Dans, man, and feed Amon-Ra and Sam Laporta. Those guys have honestly been tremendous.
Mm-hmm.
Next up, we got Giants at Cowboys. The Cowboys are favored by 15.5 points. If you guys recall, last time they kicked the shit, the Cowboys, that is, out of the Giants on Sunday Night Football Week 1. I think this is going to be a repeat of that. The Cowboys by 1 million. It's not even going to be a question here.
Yeah, I mean, I think Tommy DeVito is starting at quarterback. So watch out. Baby. Watch out. Cowboys win by 35.
Oh, yeah. I don't even know what to say. Just Cowboys.
Commanders at Seahawks. The Seahawks are favored by 6 here. Commanders just haven't been able to figure out how to score either. The Seahawks, and they're going up against a really good Seahawks defense, despite what we saw in Baltimore. I'm going to take the Seahawks, and it should be a pretty easy game for them.
I think Seattle finds a way to make the games interesting, but the Commanders aren't running the football as well as they can. Sam Howell and Bieniemy, they just like to throw a ton. That's Seahawks secondary. Lamar in this game, when the Ravens played the Seahawks, it was on the ground. So if they can't, if their run game's not working for the Commanders, I feel even more confident with Seattle. Give me Seattle.
Yeah, Seahawks bounce back. Seahawks seem to beat the teams they need to beat.
Agreed. Next up, New York Jets at Las Vegas Raiders. We just got done touching on this earlier. The Jets, I'm going to take the Jets on this one. They are favored by 2 points. But the Las Vegas Raiders showed out. Their defense looked really good, but again, it was against the Giants last week. So what can you say about that? So I'm going to take the Jets. I just think that the Jets have the better defense, and that's really the only reason why.
Zach?
I think winners anyone who doesn't watch this Sunday night game, but I'll take the Jets.
You know what? I'm gonna buy what's going on in Vegas. They're gonna have another victory cigar or sweet and mild, whatever it may be. They feel like they're gaining confidence there, and the wheels might fall off for the Jets.
That is it, guys, for week 10. Next,
that was good. That was pretty good, Rocco. Thanks for standing pat, man.
Yeah, Rocco, that was impressive.
It's really good.
Hey, I want to give you my life, fellas.
Hey, you know what? Yeah, honestly, you're not lying. But someone did give you a comment here. Don C gave a comment that Rocco looks like a Swole Smalls from the movie Sandlot.
Swole Smalls?
Yeah. You know what? We were having this conversation about apparently
Thanks,
with
Don.
the Eagles. With the Eagles, they have Who's Swole Batman. They have different versions of Batman, Rocco. Did you ever hear about this?
Yeah. Fat
Most people
Batman, sexy Batman, and swole Batman, right? Or is it skinny Batman? I thought
Batman.
Kelsey was originally
Batman.
I thought Kelsey was originally fat Batman, but now he's sexy Batman.
Yeah.
Oh, well, yeah, no, he did join, but the receivers are skinny, fast, and swole.
So skinny, swole, yeah.
Hey, well, you know, another thing. Did we hear the conspiracy theory about Lebitard thinking Aaron Rodgers' injury is not as bad? He was claiming that
He never
did he really tore his Achilles?
I love it.
I feel like Rodgers loves that. Somebody thinks his
Yes.
injury is a conspiracy theory, as a huge conspiracy theorist himself.
He's eating that up. I'm sure he called it in. He's the one who probably, like, from a burner account,
He's
commented on all of them.
This is Bill from North Dakota.
Yeah,
We have some information on Aaron Rodgers' injury.
he ain't really tear that Achilles, right? He's got the tin hat on, the tinfoil.
Did you guys see Stavros was on the Dan Lebitard show too?
Yes.
No, but that's
What a
awesome.
He said the Ravens are 9-0 because the Steelers cheated and the Colts were afloat.
I just want so badly for him to come on, just hang out for 5 minutes, bro.
Yeah,
just do Baltimore's own a solid. Come on,
yeah, we have a cool studio. We have a ping pong table.
We do.
I did see a Baltimore Ronnie's shirt coming into the game when I was going to the Ravens Seahawks game. Someone had the shirt, and I was like, I wanted to like so badly be like, dude, that's so dope. But my windows were up, and I was going apart.
You're a good
mean
kid.
That much to you.
You're a good kid, Rock.
Thanks.
Hey, before because we'll wait for a second here, Brad. But I think first off, if you're new to the channel, like, subscribe. Hey, how you doing? I'm Ryan Ripken. That's Zach B, who can't manage a stand. That's Brad up top, and you got Rocco, aka Swole Smalls, in the bottom right corner there. We got a lot going on. We're going to cover. I know people have had a couple comments about, and one of them talking about a real sport, hockey. I got a hunch who that is. But we are going to dive into more sports as the season goes on. But obviously, football is hot, especially in Baltimore. The Orioles have been hot, especially with what's going on. Our next guest coming up, Dean Kremer, is going to be joining us here, which we're pretty excited about. Any other thoughts, concerns at the moment here, Brad?
I was just checking in, and I saw Jeff Chow tuning in. He's one of my guys that tunes in on my other channel. Appreciate you, bro. He says tell Brad he needs to talk to Lamar and playing better for fantasy purposes. I know, isn't it hilarious? I think he's only got 9 passing touchdowns so far this year. So it's like they're winning like crazy, but Lamar just not putting up those fantasy numbers like you hoped he would.
Yeah,
Appreciate you tuning in, Jeff.
One touchdown in 2 games.
We appreciate you tuning in, especially. And I guess get a little pick for tonight. I mean, so we're riding Bears defense is kind of what's happening here in the next 15 minutes. Bears, Panthers kick off, the teams that made the trades. Keep in mind the Bears, if they win, they win. They lose, they win. They win, they win. Because the trade that they got, they have the Panthers first-round pick next year. You got to be feeling pretty good if you're the Carolina Panthers. My dilemma is, do I start the Chicago Bears defense? It looks like we might go to that because we can't go against C.J. Stroud. I love what he's done, and we're going to talk about that after we have our conversation with Dean, Brad, because C.J. Stroud had an interesting comment, actually, and maybe we'll tie that all in.
Oh, yeah, we'll bring it up to Dean, too, see what he thinks.
Yeah.
But did you – I got to feel like – if you're Kirk Herbstreit and Al Michaels and you're calling this game, like how bored must you be already, or how did you feel like, how do you energize yourself to call a game like that? If you're Al Michaels, you call all these incredible games and now you have to call like the 2 worst teams playing each other.
It's gotta be like, I think after a while you just get numb to it, don't you? Like, it's just another, he just goes out there. Like, he's called so many horrendous games.
Well, let's be honest. You're going to tune into this game?
Yes.
Yes. So there's your answer.
Football's king.
It's entertainment. People are going to enjoy it.
I don't think I'm tuning into this game.
You don't think so? You don't think Tyson Bagent has a one last hurrah? It looks like Justin Fields might be back next week. Why not?
I think the game would be more entertaining if you let his dad go out and do the halftime show and arm wrestle every fan in the stands. Then people would watch.
Rocco,
if his dad was arm wrestling Sweat, that would be electric.
Dude, his dad is hilarious, by the way. Like, that guy is straight up comedy. He needs his own TV show if he doesn't already. Like, I laughed so hard when he just absolutely manhandled Tom Pelissero of NFL Network when he arm wrestled him at the Senior Bowl. You guys see that clip? Awesome.
Yes, that was incredible. Well,
Kirsten Daly says I'll tune in, but because there's nothing better on, that's why I'm gonna watch it. Joe Radke also asked, I thought this was an interesting question as we wait. Says, do you think there's any major sports leagues that go public? There actually is. One of them, I think, is there's a soccer league out there, right? That went public, or maybe they just actually went back private. There's a couple of them.
What you're talking about, yeah.
What are you talking
about? Sports teams that go public, like that are publicly traded.
Just don't worry about it, Rocco.
I think I'm just stupid. I'm just gonna sit. Yeah, hold on. Let's go back to the 40-second picks so I can sit this one out again.
Yeah, why don't you sit the next couple of plays out here? And actually, I think it's time. Actually, I think I saw him behind the curtain there. So I think it's about time we move on to who we have coming on for the show. Brad, we ready to rock and roll?
Let's do it. We got the one and only. There he is. You want to do the intro, Brian? It's your boy.
Okay. For you guys, you might know him as a Baltimore Orioles pitcher with phenomenal hair, but I know him as just a great kid, one of my former teammates, and that is Mr. Dean Kremer. Can we get Dean in here, please?
There he
there he is.
Hey,
Yeah. Wow. How about that? Dino, you're looking great, man.
Thanks, buddy.
Is that the couch you put together? Is that the couch?
It is the couch I put together. Just finished it about 30 minutes ago.
Well, that's great. I don't know which I'd rather do. I just lugged a Christmas tree into the back of my car for Jamie. It's November. It's not Thanksgiving. I digress to that. But, hey, look at us adulting, man. I'm proud of you.
I don't know that I'm a fan yet, but here we are.
What is it? It's not like an IKEA couch where you have to assemble everything, right? Like you just had to put together.
I did assemble basically everything, but no, it is not an IKEA couch.
I feel like this is bold, like a couch launch, like hard couch launch immediately on the Ryan Ripken Show after building it. Like you have to be dedicated to the couch now.
Yeah, blood, sweat, and tears into this thing.
Yeah. Yeah, see, he's working on and off the field. He never stops.
Get you a pitcher that can do both.
Well all right. Well, hey, Dean, we're going to start off. Zach's been kind of dying to ask you a specific question.
Yeah. So, Dean, I'm not sure if you saw last night, the Orioles YouTube page posted a video of the guys playing Hungry Hungry Hippos. And I guess it was filmed during spring training. So originally we were going to ask if you felt left out, and then we all simultaneously realized you were playing in the World Baseball Classic. But still, were you hurt that they played Hungry Hungry Hippos without you?
No, I think I know what you're talking about. So every spring training, the media team kind of has us do all sorts of games that they eventually play on the scoreboard in between innings. Like the one where if you've been to an Oriole game, you've seen like guys like drawing each other, or the like I think this year was like Jenga, and I guess Hungry Hungry Hippos was in there as well. But no, I don't feel left out.
So did you miss all the games because of the World Baseball Classic?
No, I just didn't get around to participate, unfortunately.
Kind of broke his heart
I
right there.
know. I was so excited I was hoping there was like beef, like you were upset that
No,
someone beat you in Jenga, and like.
No, Bradish and I will do our best to join in next spring.
Although I guess it would stink, like you lose at Jenga and then they just play it repeatedly in between innings, everyone in front of thousands.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
That would break my heart. That would break my heart.
Let's get off the damn hippos here for a second. Hey, Dean, it just kind of broke since, well, it's not really breaking news, like a couple hours, but hey, like some silver sluggers for the boys. Adley and Gunner, I think both won, took home the hardware. Props to the boys, by the way.
They deserve it. Every guy in our lineup from the beginning of the season to the end of the season produced big time. Saved our pitching staff a lot of times.
Yeah, they're raking. They were doing really extremely well. Hopefully they have some more hardware. Is it kind of a lock that Gunner's rookie of the year?
I would imagine so. I hope so. He got off to kind of a slow start, but after that first month, he just went on a tear basically and didn't slow down for the rest of the season. He was a crucial bat to have in the lineup against righties, against lefties. It didn't matter.
Cool. We're going to have more questions about the lineup here for our actual guy that knows more about stats than I do. So I wanted to hold pat with that, but it was a tremendous year for the boys for so many reasons. Obviously the postseason didn't go the way that you wanted. And first off, I know with you specifically, you were able to have a moment where you're going to have to check off a list. You're going to start a postseason game. You celebrated. And then you had some other things going on personally, and we're not going to get into the whole politics of all that, but because I care about you, how are you doing? How's your family doing with everything, the situation going on, back with Israel?
Yeah, it's been a long 30 days. Things still haven't kind of calmed down, but my family's kind of in a safer area. They're more central, so it's harder for them to be fired on, I guess, unfortunately. But no, they're okay. They're okay.
Good. The only reason I don't mean to bring it up with that, it's just more of an awareness of it's a unfortunate situation. I don't think a lot of people understand the danger of it, but also then how much that weighs on you, and so for me, the first thing when I saw it come out was damn, like just knowing specifically what you're dealing with. And the thing that I think that was even more brutal was this was before game 3 for you.
Right.
And dude, I get it. It's hard to, go out there and pitch. Were you able to try to compartmentalize the best that you could?
Yeah, I definitely tried. Definitely tried the best as I could. With it going on, without it going on, I wanted to pitch that game. And unfortunately, it didn't go the way that we wanted. But it was, I think a lot of good came out of it. Regardless, there was a lot of attention on it. There was a lot of media about it. There was a lot of awareness about that, and that made it all kind of worth it.
Yeah, I mean, look, I can only imagine. I think sometimes people forget when players are people on the side, and in these big moments, we've talked about this quite a bit, right?
Definitely, we are human too.
You are.
Well. We do have normal lives sometimes. I know when we get seen out in public eating at a restaurant or like grocery shopping or whatever, it's like, oh, you come here too? Yeah, well, I do live. I
do need to
I
get
do need to.
groceries.
I do need to eat. Yeah.
Stop traffic. Dean Kremer goes to a grocery store. You kidding me?
Yeah.
You do this too?
That is nuts. Well, hey man,
You actually put together that couch? What?
yeah, dude, a man of the people doing his own work. You did get a little bit of help though for that though, right? For the couch? No.
My brother helped me a little bit, but
Are you trying to take away his thunder of the couch?
No,
No. Yeah, it was just him and I.
Yeah, and to wrap all that up, dude, you're I joke that the good kid thing started because it's usually when someone messes up, and I'd be like, hey man, you're a good kid. These guys are working on being good kids. They are good kids, but not as great as you yet, Dino. We're working on them, especially this guy that couldn't figure out a mic stand when we were trying to get this set up.
Yeah. We don't need to talk about that.
Yeah, so we had a lot of things. I'm getting off track here. But everyone, the thing that I love is the community. I don't know about this. You are a regular guy, and people love you here. And then I might toot your horn too, but rightfully so. And I'm excited. We got a lot more questions. I think we got some. I think Rocco's got the next question.
Dean, what's going on? Thanks for joining the show, man. Really appreciate your time. So I feel like this got a lot of, in baseball, the national spotlight, especially when people were watching the NLCS, Phillies, Diamondbacks. Craig Kimbrell, JT Realmuto had to go out to him a few times because the pitch clock, it kept running down. And Craig Kimbrell, as you know, as many baseball fans know out there, he has his rhythm. He does the thing with his hand. He kind of hangs his arm there, and that's what he does to get set. He gets into a rhythm, gets into his motion. For you as a pitcher, I want to ask you about the first full year as an MLB player with the pitch clock. And the second part to that question, if you can answer that, is disengagements and the pickoff and how that's really affected the game in a positive or a negative way for pitchers, players of your position.
Positively, I definitely think it helped definitely helped speed up the game. But it also, like, for me, it was the biggest, like, I work quick anyway. So the pitch clock wasn't a huge adjustment. The only time that it was like an issue was like in the middle of summer when it was really hot and you got a day game and you need to catch your breath for a second, or you go 2-0 on two balls that aren't even close to the zone, and then you like need to step back and be like, okay, I gotta focus again.
Lock back in, dude.
Yeah, I gotta lock back in. Otherwise, we're not going to be out here for very long. But I think it definitely helped with like some teams, like they just take forever to get in the box collectively as a whole team. And like when you're sitting there on the mound waiting and waiting and waiting for every guy to either get in the box or in between pitches or whatever, those kind of get then it kind of gets bored. Kind of get bored and kind of like, all right, let's go. Let's get this over with.
Ready to play.
Yeah, exactly.
Come on.
I'd say that definitely on a positive note, and then on the negative side, with the whole, I think 15 seconds isn't enough with out of the windup, because you shake a guy off once or twice, and then you're down to 3 seconds, and then you're getting put into a spot where whether it's 1-2, 2-2, it could even be 3-2. And you got to make your pitch, but you're not necessarily convicted in what you're gonna throw or what's been called, and you don't have time to shake, and you don't get any disengagements without getting balled.
Yeah,
I had thought about that before the season. That 15 seconds just seemed to go by. Especially it felt like at the beginning of the year. Obviously, as you adjusted, did it feel longer? Was kind of throughout the entire season, you still kind of felt like, man, I wish this was longer?
Yeah, it didn't really change. I mean, some days that you're moving a little bit slower than other days, or you're having a hard time to find a rhythm. Those are probably the hardest days. But outside, it's really not. It's not too bad. I just wish I wish it was 20 seconds in the windup because not very many guys will be 20 seconds in the windup unless you shake 3 or 4 times. But they gave us that little. There's like we also have our own little buttons. So if I knew what I wanted to throw before getting on the mound, I would hit the button and then step on, and that way either Adley or McCann didn't. They would just have to hear it in the earbud that they have.
What are your thoughts on PitchCom?
Oh, sorry.
I was going to say real quick, what are your thoughts on PitchCom? Do you prefer that over signing?
Yes.
Why is that, Dean? Why is that?
I'll say junior college kind of ruined it for me.
Oh.
So we had, I mean, it was in California junior college. We had like 5 sets of signs and they involved taps and fingers and whatnot. Then I got the pro ball and they're like, oh, you just need to know like 2 or 3 sets. And then when you get to the big leagues, people become staff becomes very paranoid about getting your signs picked. And that has been real apparent, especially in our division. So just having it in your ear, and there's like, if you cross up a catcher because you heard 4-seam fastball and you decided you were going to throw a curveball anyway, like that, you got some other
what
problems.
it says? Does it say 4-seam fastball in your ear?
Yeah. So it says
Siri.
That's so cool.
Is it like Siri's voice?
What does a voice sound like? Yeah.
Like the AI or
yeah. So I mean, it depends on the pitch, but like 4-seam fastball will be like 4-seam fastball. And then for cutter, it goes cutter, slider.
Can you like
so it gets a little aggressive when it goes to the breaking balls, but I truly like it. I think it was needed.
I think the next step up for PitchCom is you get to customize the voice. So like you can have Adley's voice go fastball. That'd be
funny story.
Jackson,
like along those lines, you can edit them to say whatever you want, I guess. We didn't experiment with that, but I know a guy that I train with here in the off season. He's with another team, and he changed the button to say like it was an F word, but it said heck yeah, heck yeah, heck yeah. So like after a punch out, he would throw it, and then the catcher would be behind the dish going heck yeah, heck yeah, heck yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
That fired me the hell up. If you ever need, if you guys need to edit, you want me to give you a little voice recognition? Yes,
please.
Perfect.
The Rip voiceover.
You'd be like, good kid.
Yeah, good kid. Oh goodness!
Every
gracious.
time Dean gets a strikeout, you're a good kid.
Good kid.
Holy shirts and pants.
Holy shirts and pants is right. We are way off of it for so many reasons here. I think, what do we have next? Rocco, I think we were, because everyone, Dean, I know this. You're
just completely out of order with the question asking.
Who the hell cares?
What we wanted.
Okay.
What we want. Well, that's the thing is like Dean goes with the flow here, and this is kind of your next question here, Rock. But Dean, everyone's wondering. You are always like this, like that. Like Rocco's been asking me, and Rocco, you can even ask. Like,
yeah, man. It seems like there are times when you watch the game and you'll get like a little frustrated after like a homer, or obviously like that's a pitcher here and there, but you seem like this all the time, just like not emotionless because you smile and we see you smile all the time, but like nothing really gets under your skin or bothers you. So we have a segment here on the Ryan Ripken Show called Grinds Your Gears. We want to know what grinds Dean Kremer's gears, whether that's in baseball or that's in real life. Like, do you get mad at left lane drivers when they're going 45, or are you just like, what grinds your gears, man?
I mean, you name it, it makes me mad. I just don't express it outwards, or at least not on the field. I definitely, I kind of pitch angry. That's just how I have to be to be successful in this league. Because as soon as I let off the gas, then that's when I get hurt. It doesn't matter whether I've given up no runs, or whether I've given up 7 runs. Like, I'm just going to be angry. But I don't know that you'll be able to tell that unless you actually know me.
Yeah, you are. It is very funny when you do get mad about stuff, because people think it's really even killed. I know one thing that kind of grinds your gears, because I laughed at it. I had them pull this up here. Dude, maybe it was your reactions to first inning home runs this year. And
Oh.
there's one specifically, we're going to pull it up here. I think it's in Chicago, and it's the first
was
pitch
it
swinging.
Talkman?
Yeah.
Talkman first pitch?
Talkman.
Yeah, first pitch.
Yeah, it goes
And then-
goes opposite field down the line.
oh, yeah, we have it right here.
Oh, don't worry.
Yeah.
You can relive it.
I gave up a lot of them, so it's whatever.
That's just a pop up at Camden
Yeah.
Yards.
I mean, everything.
What was that? There it was. What was that?
Because I went on a streak of first batter, and it was like a hit, or he would just like battle, and then I'd walk him. But like for some reason, I couldn't get the first guy out. Couldn't leave the first inning without giving up a run. I was, what do I need to do? I don't understand.
You
Like
had
throw it in the zone, out the zone. It doesn't matter. If it was out of the zone, it was a walk, and if it was in the zone, it was hit and hit hard. And I was like, I don't know what to do. Every pitch needs to be on the black, I guess.
Yeah, man, it's so fun. Like I was going through a lot of the first inning home runs. You had 6 of them this year, by the way. 2 of them
Hey,
were
man. Yeah.
first pitches.
I was worried for a while that I was going to lead the league there in homers.
Did you lead the league in homers in the first inning? Had to have.
Probably.
I'll
I would
look
think-
into
I mean,
stat.
6 is probably
You
a
guys
lot.
think so?
Maybe I
That's a
don't know.
lot.
That's a lot. Yeah. So we had another one from Brent Rooker. I know we're just like putting you through it right.
Slider, middle.
But
Yeah.
we had Brent.
People don't forget.
We had Brent on the show, so we had to like put that one on here for him. Brent apparently had his way with Camden Yards, but
He did.
it was, and we went over some
Yeah,
plays.
that's when he was unconscious in the first month of the season.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Unconscious.
Unreal.
Yeah.
Good guy though too. But
Yeah.
it was just something really interesting about the whole. And then your reaction in Chicago.
Yeah,
was also
I was
something
tired of it.
Yeah, but you know what I loved, Dean, with this, because even though obviously you're not like, yes, I love, you made it very clear you don't love giving up runs in the first inning. I don't think anyone loves it.
Gives up
No one likes
runs
losing.
in general.
It sucks. It sucks. But what I think the progression for you, because especially in the first month, and I remember we talked about this in the parking lot quickly, when you're like, hey, it's a marathon of a season. But for you specifically, you got past the month of April and you got past these first inning runs. You got to pitch the next, if you can go 7 innings, that's the goal. We talk about this all the time. What for you, once you got past that hurdle of, hey, screw whatever happens in the first inning, we're going to talk about Bradish here in a second with good guy Kyle, but something really switched, and arguably for me in a big game, dude, you stepped up for every big game. That Atlanta game was like, that sparked you from down the stretch of like, dude, you can mow down everyone. And I've seen it firsthand. But so can you talk a little bit about, maybe was it a feeling for you? Was it just gaining rhythm into the, majority of the season?
It was definitely gaining rhythm throughout the season. Tune-up games are tune-up games in spring training, but that it's not necessarily real competition, especially if you don't treat it that way. So I try my best to. The Classic definitely helped with that, but I think I was a little. If you look at if analytically, if you look at my stuff and the breaks and whatnot, I think everything improved, especially like fastball velocity went up and all that good stuff. And I think it took me a little bit to kind of get used to that and how to kind of control it. So I think that first chunk of the season was a learning curve for myself. And then towards the end, it started to get better and better. But yeah, it is you don't realize, like, I finished my first year as like healthy and the whole year, and 32 starts is a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot. How's that arm feeling?
Yeah.
Is that thing barking by the end of it?
Oh yeah.
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 But no, we do our best during the season, and the staff that we have has done a great job in recognizing when we need to pull back or when we need to ramp things up and kind of on every facet, the pitching guys, the medical staff, and the strength guys as well.
Yeah, man, it was great to see. I mean, I think the beauty of it, your progression was awesome. I think Brad.
Yeah. So, Dean, I actually just saw something today about CJ Stroud making comments about baseball players. I wanted you to react to this video, but then I have a question for you after as well. So just take a look at this real quick.
Football players want to be basketball players, and we all want to play baseball. Like,
so let me actually, I don't know why it started so late, but either way, just the quote. He said, CJ Stroud said, football players want to be basketball players, and basketball players want to be football players, and we all want to be baseball players. I guess my question to you is, what do you think there's some truth to that? And then if so, you as a baseball player, what's your sport? Like if you that you would want to play? I feel like Ryan's is basketball, but what would yours be?
So to answer the first one, I definitely think that there's some truth to that. You see a lot of guys on our team and across the league, they're like throwing the football around, and I mean everybody's a good thrower, so that kind of happens naturally, and catching and whatnot. So the hand-eye is there, and that I think that's the biggest thing for us as athletes on the baseball field is hand-eye, and it doesn't matter what sport you play, you basically need that. So that's something that us baseball players kind of excel at, and we can take it into other sports and not have an issue kind of picking things up. And then for me, I'd probably say tennis.
Tennis,
Yeah, I like racket sports.
Racket,
paddle.
You play table tennis?
You can call it ping pong. I'm not going to get offended. I'm not one of those people.
Did you really say table tennis? Time out.
Table tennis.
I'll tell you a story though.
That's a violation.
Please, story time.
A quick story. It's not
story time.
When I played for Team USA at the Jewish Olympics in the Maccabiah in 2013, basically the flight from LA that I took was just full of athletes. So like we all congregated, and they all had a flight for us to go to Israel through LA. There was 3 flights. There was like a Philly one, a LA one, I think like a New York one or something. And so you had to be on one of those 3 flights. So I took the LA one because from California, and there was a girl sitting a couple rows in front of me, and my buddy and I are talking to her, and she's like, "Oh, what do you guys play?" And we're like, "Oh, we play baseball." And then we're like, "What do you play?" She was like, "Table tennis." And I go, "Table? You mean ping pong?" And she goes,
"Oh, she was pissed."
It's table tennis. Yeah, it was like as if we like disrespected her, and I was like, "Oh, all right, all right."
Time out. There's Jewish Olympics.
Yeah. So every 4 years there's it's called the Maccabi Games.
That's awesome.
Just like how you have the regular Olympics, it's just all Jewish athletes from all across the world, and like so we participated. It was all the same thing. It was all
awesome.
Opening ceremonies, closing ceremonies, like all this stuff. And we also did. So the fun thing about this stuff was we also toured Israel, like the first week, and then the second week was when all the games would happen, and like we'd go watch the volleyball girls, or we'd go watch the guys basketball, or whatever, because it's all relatively close.
That's
awesome. It was a really, really fun experience.
Besides you insulting the woman on the flight about table tennis, other than that, it was great.
It was
probably the meanest you've ever been. How insensitive!
I don't know about that.
Dean.
Dean,
I don't know about that either.
I was just saying we have a ping pong table at the studio. Next time you're in town,
table tennis, if you will.
Table tennis,
nobody wants to play me, so like I feel like you come in.
I'm too busy messing up trying to set up the mic, so I can't play.
Yeah, you are a whole different issue. Yeah, man. Well, it sounds like things have been flowing well for you. And speaking of flows,
actually, two things first. First, Dean wanted to update you. You weren't even in the top 15 in home runs given up in the first. So
yeah, baby.
I had to scroll down to find you. So people don't scroll.
Who's in the top? All right, top 3. Do we have a top 3?
Actually, number 1 is 12. So he doubled you. You are so in the clear.
Was it Lance?
No, it was Tyon, Jameson Tyon.
Really?
Yeah,
that's surprising.
Let's see if you can name the list here. Let's see if you can name 2 other pitchers.
I'm pretty sure that Lance Lynn led the league.
Yeah, I think he led the league. He's
he was
up
like
there.
way, yeah, he was like way ahead of
9.
everybody
He
else.
gave up. Yeah, he gave up 9 in the first inning. But yeah, Giolito was 11, Luke Weaver 10, Trevor Williams 10, Patrick Corbin 10, Justin Verlander 9. That surprises me.
Well, you know
He gives
what?
up a lot. He gives up a lot of solo shots though.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, and then they don't score the rest of the game. So
Yeah,
it
you're
works
tied
out
for
them.
17. You're tied for 17.
All right.
No one,
17. Dean.
We're
no one
okay.
ever even looks
We're
outside
okay.
the 15.
17.
Yeah.
But
Let's
back,
go.
but back to the important questions that we asked here on the Ryan Ripken Show.
Yeah, this is pressing.
So-
hard questions.
There's a lot of talk going around, and by a lot of talk, I mean here, a best flow on the team. And we've had Kyle rank them 1 through 3, and we're going to continue this. So I'm going to need you to rank 1 through 3, but I will warn you, this list is being kept. So you can be humble and not put yourself 1, but like then your consensus 1 is ruined. So
Yeah,
pressure
he
is
does
on.
have the list. I'm looking. You can see
Yeah.
the phone actually right here. Hold on. There it is.
Boom.
And he has Kyle's list on there.
Yeah.
If you're gonna force my hand, then I guess I'll say I'm at the top. I definitely take care of it more than anybody else.
That
Oh,
is
I
a
love
fact.
that. I love
I have
that.
seen that in action. It's impressive.
Yeah, there's
How often
there's
do
a
you
route.
condition?
Basically every day, every other day.
Yeah, this is
What's the
And then
routine?
I wash it. I wash it probably like once a start. Fortunately I have thick hair and it doesn't really get greasy. It's kind of coarse and dry, so it needs all of the oils it can kind of hold on to. So I don't have to wash my hair as often. I just put product in it.
Well, Dean Kremer's 1-1. Dean Kremer. There we go. Lock it in.
The number 1 overall pick. All right, who's 2?
I don't know. It kind of. I mean, I gotta say Vespi. Vespi's probably number 2, and then I'd probably say Gunner when it's long, but he cuts it throughout the season. I really like Cedric's. I like the samurai.
I've been waiting for this. I
I
have been
like the
waiting for
samurai.
Seti to get this. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. This made my day. This whole interview's worth it now. I've been waiting. I was wondering how long we were going to get until Seti was said. That was
Yeah. I like the samurai. I do.
Yeah.
An honorable mention would probably be your best friend, Mike. Big Mike.
Mike.
Yeah.
Big Mike.
When it's long.
Yeah, I know. Then he buzzed that stuff. Well, I mean, he
Like
he cut it.
accidentally too short. Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a whole debacle. Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
I'm sure you do.
Oh, Mike.
And
Michael.
he's just too nice of a guy to really put any fuss.
Yeah, someone that you think would be the most intimidating because he's built out of a lab. You would think that he would actually want to rip someone's head off. Nicest guy in the world. Gets extremely red when he's nervous. We're gonna have him on here to talk about it too. Yeah, Gene, you want to come back for that one?
I'll come back.
Embarrassing Mike.
Yes. Lock it in. Everyone, it's on live. He said it.
He said he's coming back. We'll get the gang together. I miss having the good kids together. Is that all your flow? Do we have the flow at the 3 now? So it's Dean, Gunner.
Well, no, it's Dean.
No, Vespi.
Dean Vespi.
1 and 2 are
Vespi's
unanimous.
coming on here.
1 and 2 so far
good.
are unanimous, and then Gunner has 2 votes for 3rd, and then Kyle said Adley and Irvin, so we gotta. If it gets close, might have to have
I don't think
specify
Adley's
order.
I don't think Adley's is long enough to consider.
You see, this is a great point. This is the debates we love to have here on the Ryan Ripken Show.
Yeah. Who
This is
cares?
why
He
we
does
ask
have
questions.
he's got a good head of hair, and he's got good hair, but I don't know if it's long enough to be considered.
The headlines on
Yeah.
ESPN
Can't
tomorrow are
look
going to
consider
be
it
Dean
lettuce.
Kramer says he hates Adley Rutschman's hair? ?
Print it.
Is there turmoil in Baltimore?
Always.
Always. The press never sleeps. Hey, but we want to actually talk a little bit about the Orioles again. We mentioned at the top of this when you came on, Dean, and Rocco's got it way covered more than me because I didn't even see it all get broken. But Rock, so the awards got announced for the guys.
Yep.
Dive in.
Silver Slugger, Adley at catcher, and then Gunner at the utility position. I feel like both were no-brainers as far as the season both those guys had. And the incredible thing is to get those guys both in the same draft is like it's simply incredible the job that Mike Elias has done for you guys with those awards. Dean, I want to ask you just about how deserving those guys are, and with the season you guys had, at what point did you know that this team was going to be something special? Because the celebration, it said it all. It was so cool to see you guys just enjoy it and be able to celebrate that first postseason berth since 2016. At what point did you know that, okay, this team was special? Like, there had to be a moment during the season where you were like, all right, we can do something here.
I don't even know if it was. I wouldn't even say that it was this year. I would say last year, because we basically had the same team as last year, plus a couple veterans, which I cannot say enough good things about the 3 veterans that they brought in Frazier, McCann, and Gibby. I mean, they are literally the best humans I've ever come across.
So again, by the way, I've said this a lot of times, but you can confirm, another Oriole player can confirm, veterans did a lot for the team besides what they did on the field.
Yes.
Yes. That's weird.
I mean, it matters. The clubhouse, the chemistry in the clubhouse and in our clubhouse was unmatched. It was, everybody wanted to be at the clubhouse. Nobody ever felt like it was work. Guys are showing up at early. I forgot Hicks too. Hicks is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't what I was expecting, but I'm so glad that he was with us the rest of the year. He's awesome, really.
Speaking of guys showing up to the ballpark, did the pitchers ever decide to or think about, dressing up like Adley and them did? Have you guys ever considered maybe like starting pitcher all show up at like a theme?
We had no idea that was even going down. So on Friday, our PR department camera people, they said Fridays there'll be entry photos, right? Mm-hmm. And while Kowser was up, I didn't say anything to anybody. There was never any talk about this. Had no idea. I think I started that game, so I had no idea. I could show up later, so I had no idea that it even happened. But I guess he bought them on Amazon like a while ago and was like just waiting quietly. And
that makes it so much better.
Hey, Adley, or hey, Gunner, hey, I forgot who the other. Oh, Mountie.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, do you want to wear these to the field? And then they did it the next day, and it was like all right, well, this is interesting, but yeah, I mean the clubhouse chemistry. Yeah, the clubhouse chemistry was fun to participate in.
Yeah, and it looks like, that's going to continue on to next year as well. I mean, we have the younger guys that are most likely going to come up, Jackson Holiday and the rest of those guys. I think it's going to be something that, I'm certainly excited to watch, but I'm sure that you are too as well. But, I don't want to say shifting gears, but when we talked to Bradish a little bit, we kind of like we're gassing him up for the Cy Young. It hadn't come out yet. And then just to kind of seeing him get snubbed on it was a bit of a letdown. I mean, what are your thoughts on that? And we actually looked at the numbers. When you look at the numbers,
he deserved to be in the conversation.
Yeah,
I mean,
yes.
Regardless,
at the very least, right?
I would say the only thing that kind of held him back was his strikeouts. And I mean, I think he was over one per or over a 9K per 9. If I'm not, I don't know. But I think that was like the only difference, because ERA, I think he finished with like a 2.8.
Yeah,
right?
something like that. He is
like a 2.8. And I think the only guy that was under that, I think, was Cole.
2.63 for Cole.
Innings wise, I mean, he missed, I think, 1 or 2 starts early in the year, but
he took that ball right off the foot.
Right, in Texas, his first start, and then I think he still finished with close to 170 innings, so he definitely qualified. That might have hurt him a little bit because he wasn't close to 200. Because like you look at all the other guys, like Gossman, he was near 200. Mm-hmm. Cole was near 200. Logan Webb, he was over 200. He led the league. And I forgot who the other two. Oh, Sonny Gray. I think he was.
Yeah.
I think he had more innings. I would say if it was purely based off performance, he's definitely in the conversation for top 3. And I would say that the only thing holding him back, that held him back, was his K/9 might not have been high enough, and he
Mhm.
didn't have the same amount of innings. I think he was down like 20 innings, maybe 10, 15 innings.
Hey, Dean, we talked as Rock actually brought up, what were we talking about, Rock, with even though we understand it's a flow of the game, we understand it's Brock. When were we talking about wins and losses as well,
Yeah.
and like where the team stands? What was the whole conversation with that? We had. I'm a little bit blurry here. I was trying to look something up.
As far as overall team or for pitchers?
For both. I mean, for the Cy Young, for Kyle, I think it was, because then we say Sonnegrave was 8-8, correct?
Yeah, it was Garrett. I'll go record ERA and Ks right now for all three guys that were finalists, and then Bradish. So you had Garrett Cole, 15-4, 2.63 ERA, 222 Ks. Kevin Gausman, 12-9, 3.16 ERA, 237 Ks. Sonny Gray, 8-8, 2.79 ERA, 183 Ks. And then Bradish, 12-7, 2.83 ERA with 168 Ks. Like you touched on, Dean, the strikeouts were down, like other than the 12-7 with a 2.83 ERA, and especially with the second half of the season Kyle Bradish had. I mean, to at least like not be a finalist, it was crazy to me and these guys, and I'm sure it was to you as well. Like, that's a finalist. Like, it's like one of three. I think Bradish should have been in there for sure.
Yeah, I definitely think he got snubbed a little bit. Definitely deserving.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that was the part for us. And looking at the innings, because that was the part you were wondering. 168, Sonny Gray then had 184. So it's close. Just my opinion with it.
Yeah.
3
or 4. That's like 2 or 3 starts.
Yeah, and the other part of it too, maybe I'm just a big believer, not trying to be a homer, but the best pitch, you're on the best team. He had a stretch of 7 games of 2 earned runs or less. I think he only allowed 3 earned runs or more, Dean, twice after June 25th or something like that. So the dude was balling. So I thought definitely in the conversation, but I think you guys he'll be fine. You'll be fine.
Yeah,
but definitely
he's gonna be fine.
Is he? I'm a little worried about him. I'm a little worried about him.
I see him every day. I'll make sure he's okay.
I'll text him again and say I'm concerned. He talk about a good kid. I miss the guys. I think right before we let you get out of here in a second. Yeah, I mean, I think Zach was talking about it. I mean, are you really off when you're off from your start?
You guys got the sprinkler duty all year.
Are you talking about in between outings or like now?
Well, in between outings was more for the sprinkler.
In between.
Was it,
No,
there were a few times that some guys didn't hit the sprinkler, and I know there was a famous one it was like 2.5 minutes that you held in the water. Yeah. I'm glad you know exactly which one we're talking about.
Was that challenging? Was that hard?
Rank that on hardest things you accomplished this year. If you could just put that in.
I think that was right under throwing the playoff game.
Perfect. Yeah.
Makes total sense.
Yep. It's all coming together here now. Now you get it.
And one last thing that I actually meant to bring up during the hair conversation, was there a time in which, because I noticed you went hair down for a little bit and then you decided to put it up. Is there preference? What was that? Was it just hot?
So up until 2021 was my last time pitching with my hair down.
Mm-hmm.
Once 22 started, I tried it and I was like, wow, it's not slapping me in the face or hitting me in the eye, or I don't have to go like this after every pitch, because that's incredibly annoying. And I don't like wearing the hair bands. Like a lot of guys wear the hair bands under the hat. That's uncomfortable for me, and I don't know. I don't like it. So not something I'm okay with. But once I started putting it up, I was like, this is no longer a distraction. Like, I can have my hair long, and it's just been a lot easier to maintain.
I will say it's kind of badass. Like, after you dominate an outing, like going in the or down in the dugout and letting your hair down. Like, does that feel good? Is that like you're like, okay, job's done?
That's my okay. I'm done.
Yeah.
So finish
hair's
move.
down. Yeah.
He's been dying to know this.
I can relax now.
Yeah, there it is. Once the hair's down, job's done.
It's long hair, don't care, but hair down, Hair down, don't have to bear down anymore. Make that into a slogan. Hair down,
Bear down because he's in
Something like that.
Arizona.
Nice.
Arizona. What does that have to do with Arizona?
Bear down. That's Arizona's. saying.
That's
University of Arizona.
University of Arizona.
Yeah, I'm
Tried to
sorry.
come at me like I was the one who didn't understand.
Okay.
It's okay. I know it's hard. It's hard for Marylanders to get out of Maryland.
Nope.
And
I'm gonna look at you for a second. You did not just say that. Are you kidding me? This is what happens.
That's the one thing that I've noticed about the state is there's so much home state pride. Like
Yes.
Marylanders love
look at-
Maryland.
Excuse
Love
me.
it. Yeah.
Have you,
I got the flag. Yeah. Oh,
have
man.
you seen the
I know.
flag? Have you seen it?
There's
The
there
flags
are
in all three of our
countless-
backgrounds.
countless bumper stickers and whatnot of either the crab or the flag or the combination of the two.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely noticed.
I'm
Some of
just
the
glad
worst
that.
drivers too, Dean.
Oh my
What's that?
Some of the worst drivers too.
I won't. I'm more concerned about the roads than the drivers. Driving through downtown I'm worried for my car.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? I'm not. Yeah, we love Maryland here. It's if you ever seen Wedding Crashers, crab cakes in football. Ever heard of it? If you didn't, I quoted it all the time in the locker room. Hey, you know what? I miss the guys. We gotta get it together. I can gloat the Maryland pride. When are you to come back here at all in the off season? Probably not.
I have to be there in a couple weeks for 2 nights, but other than that, I'm going to stay West Coast.
Great. Well, I'm going to reach out to you then for those couple nights. Probably won't see you, but it'd be great if I did. Hey, is that anything else, Brad? Or we got anything else for any closing remarks over there?
That's it, Dean. Thanks so much for coming out, man. We certainly appreciate it. It's been awesome talking with you, and I'm looking forward to having you back. And listen, I'm telling you, ping pong, the invite's there. It's happening.
Table tennis. Yeah, Dean, this was harmless, right? Besides, it was fine. Except
you guys are good kids.
Yeah.
Good kids. There we go, working on it.
Great hair, better person. That's what I took away from this. Great hair, better person. Dean Kremer.
Hey, Dino, appreciate you, man. Hey, you can sign off, log off, and get the heck out of here. Enjoy your new couch, and I will talk with you soon. We'll get a meal when you come back here to the greatest state in the United States.
Sounds good. I think I'm going to sleep here. I think I'm going to sleep on this thing tonight.
your mind
The
work.
hard work
There you go.
paid off.
All right,
thank you guys
Dino.
for having me.
Hey, that's
Thank
Dean
you.
Kremer,
Appreciate it,
baby. All right, Dean, now beat it. Get out of here.
See you guys.
See ya.
That was awesome.
Hey, man,
listen,
he's a good
Great
kid.
guy.
bro, that was great. I feel like we'll see how this goes, but he'd be great to just have on mid-season on a regular basis. Super cool guy to talk to. Love that.
I think the goal is here, and Rox heard me talk about this a lot too. He's just a relaxing guy. He loves the little things like we do, even though I love that you ask him what gets him pissed off. I'm glad he said there's a lot
Because
he's just
Rip, because you see him, you watch him in the games, and you even in the clubhouse afterwards for his post-game interviews, he is just dialed in, locked in, and he says he pitches angry. You could tell, it's hard to come down from that, I guess, after you have a start like that or start in general. And it's just you're out there pitching angry, giving it your all. And to see him in this light and to see the chill side of him was pretty cool, because you don't always get to see that with professional athletes, the human being side of them, he talked about as well in the interview.
Are you saying you get scared of asking him questions after his games?
No, I wasn't in there enough. But,
That pause right there.
Yeah,
the pause. It took him a while to answer that. Actually, Rocco, is there anybody that and you don't have to name names, but is there?
I'll give you guys a story. So
Let's go.
last year it wasn't an Oriole, but it was a Raven. And you guys, I mean, this is everyone probably has a story like this. I went into the Ravens locker room last year, and it was right after training camp ended. They had the roster set and really wanted to talk to Marcus Peters, do an interview with him. And you know how Marcus Peters carries himself. He's trash talk on the field. And he just, he's an intimidating dude. So I go up to Marcus Peters at his locker room, and I'm just like, hey, Marcus, can I grab you for 2 seconds? Can we do a quick interview? And he looks me up and down. He just goes, nah, I'm good. And then I turned around so fast, walked back to the reporters in the locker room, and they all just like were smirking because they knew like you don't ask this guy questions inside the locker room because he's going to give you that reaction. But shout out to
learned the
Marcus
hard way.
Peters, what he did as a Raven. Fun got it covered, but that was like my welcome to reporting here moment.
Welcome to the locker room, and that's when Rocco decided he was going to go to the gym every single day to try to
That's when Swole Rocco started.
Swole Smalls, baby.
Marcus Peters really created a villain. So shout out to Marcus Peters for that.
Yes.
I love it.
It's going to be like people are going to look back at Rocco's life. It's going to be like
and there's
before Marcus Peters, after the Marcus Peters moment. That's how it's separated.
And that's the moment there. But yeah, hey, overall, just to close out with Dean, dude is a great guy. He competes a lot. And I think the beauty of it was seeing what he's capable of doing with this pitching staff. I've seen him at his best. I believe in everything he does. And also when you talk to him, like, why don't you want to see that guy? If you had a problem with Dean, come see me. That dude is one of the best teammates also, and can put a couch together apparently too.
I will say I am after today. I was already a big Dean Kremer guy. I am a massive Dean Kremer fan after today. That was really cool.
Hey, we got some great guys. I mean, hey, look, you want to talk about hair guys, Nick Vespi, you're talking, you got it. Nick knows he's coming.
Give us a reason to put you at number one. That's all I'm going to say.
Yep.
You need that's going to be the real interesting one is if he ranks himself first. Ooh, we got
Zach's
turmoil in Baltimore.
Zach's power rankings.
That's when my tell-all comes out.
We would be at the bottom of those lists, Rip. Me and you.
My mom and I were talking about hair plugs tonight. Now, what that procedure is, it outdated or not? Is that what I wanted to talk about while going over to my mom's house?
No,
but is that what she's worried about?
Oh man,
time out. Let's stay for a second. What does the audience think? I mean, this doesn't look. Could it be worse? Sure.
Yeah, there's a reason.
Our hairlines, man, both of them are like backpedaling like Deion Sanders. A friend of mine said that, like when I was in Huntsville, he's like, your hairline is backpedaling like Deion Sanders. So that's where I'm at. It's like not so much the hairline, but it's like I have a huge forehead. So it's like it's a 5 head. It's not a 4 head. Like that's what we call it. So
I can't get on.
I'm familiar with the term.
Yeah. Is that why you wear a hat there, buddy?
That's what I just said. I said there's a reason I'm always in a hat on the show.
Same. That's why I usually wear one too.
All right. I think we went for a while. Hey, Brad, maybe we don't talk about the Bengals tonight just because, but why don't we, each of us will go through our dog of the week and then our fantasy ride or dies. And why don't we get out of here and get on with the rest of our Thursday night, which apparently started the Bears defense. They gave up a punt return. Does it feel good? Absolutely not.
That's not what you wanted.
Thanks, Zach.
Well, I started them too. Why are you? Yeah,
Brad, I think I gave you the right advice then, man. I think I steered you in the right direction.
But I'm not giving advice.
I got you, my guy.
All right, so let's get to the dogs of the week. So for me, look, we're gonna do bold predictions here. I'm taking the Texans over the Bengals. I think CJ Stroud is just on absolute fire. I would be surprised if he doesn't ball out against the Bengals in Cincinnati. I know it's going to be a tough place to play, but if I have to go with an underdog, I'm going to go big here, and I'm going Houston Texans over Cincinnati.
Ooh. All right, I'm excited for this one. I'm taking the Broncos over the Bills.
Whoa.
Monday night, Russell Wilson comes in high knees and all. And he takes it. I don't believe in the Bills. After everything I've seen over the past few weeks, until they prove to me that they can beat teams above 500, not named the Miami Dolphins, I'm going to take, not that the Broncos are over 500, but they're looking like frauds. So let's take the Broncos. Dog of the week.
Brock, what you got, man? You got a pick for this?
I'm going to go, and you guys might call me crazy for this.
Crazy.
This is what it is. I will fall on the sword and I'll whatever. But I am going to go with Cardinals over Falcons as my dog of the week.
I don't think that's too crazy.
I just think that, the Falcons are riding a 2-game losing streak. The Cardinals, it's like, what do you have to lose here? Unless, your 9th game, but it's basically it.
What do you have to lose here except for your 9th game?
Yeah, I mean, that's really it.
That's That's rich. You know, I was thinking about this more and more here, and I actually made the game pick about it to go, you know what? I'm going to go with this team.
Don't you dare.
Where do you think I'm going with this?
I don't know. I just wanted to say that.
I am going to switch it up, and in honor of Belichick with the tarps off, the
Ooh.
Patriots are going to flip the switch, and something weird's going to happen overseas. I think New England could squeak it out. I've actually been staring at it, my screen, figuring it out. I think that is possible. I think it's going to be a closer game than people indicate. It's not that the Patriots not that they're a good team, but it's not like they aren't being competitive. They show their flashes. They pick and choose, it seems like. Maybe they'll pick this week to bounce back and maybe feed Stevenson 25 to 30 times for 200 yards and a touchdown.
That's
maybe
because
that's
of
just
the fantasy team, correct? Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe.
Yeah.
All right. How
I was
about
going to say real quick, Rick Bolt's my middle name. It's actually Michael, but so just wanted to get that out there.
shut up.
Okay, on
Shut
to the next topic. Fantasy rider dies, as we were saying.
Yeah, that's what we were saying. Actually, side note, I can't believe I haven't thrown Zach out the way. We made it through the show so far tonight.
Yeah,
This has been really
This is
good.
real-
Fantasy rider dies. Who would like to begin? We're each are taking one for the week that we are riding with. Does anyone want to go first?
Yeah, I got mine. So, I can't go with AJ Brown this week. The Eagles are on a bye, which look, next week is going to be incredible. It's going to be Chiefs. It's going to be Eagles, and I can't wait to watch that game. But for this week, and I actually, if you have some people on a bye, obviously, as I'd mentioned, the Eagles are out there. Miami is also on a bye. So what do you got? Who do you go with? For me, I think, at least in my opinion, I got to go Gus Edwards. Gus Edwards, I think, could score a lot of touchdowns yet again. Look, everybody's high on on Keaton, and rightfully so. But I think when it comes down to the goal line, it's got to be Gus there. Keaton Mitchell just doesn't look like he's ready to be like that goal line guy, and I don't even know if he's built for that. So I'm going Gus Edwards to score at least 2 touchdowns on Sunday.
Am I up testing? All right. I love me some tight ends. I'm going Sam Laporta.
Oh, I like that.
Looking at it, he's going against the Chargers, who have given up, I think it's the 5th most fantasy points, if I'm not mistaken, 2 tight ends. Defense isn't playing all that well for them. Give me Sam Laporta. You got Amon-Ra back. There's just a lot. And Montgomery. Montgomery's back too. So much going on in Detroit's offense. Chargers have to try to stop it. Sam Laporta has become Jared Goff's go-to guy for checkdowns, 10-yard outs. And I love it. As a fantasy owner of him, I got to keep going with my guy.
All right, I'll dive in. Real quickly, and it's simple. I think Kenneth Walker there's been rumblings that he's not going to be able to do he's losing snaps, which he has been, but I think he bounces back. He's been one of the best running backs. He ran into a buzzsaw in the Ravens defense. Kenny Walker, big day for the Seahawks. I think he finds the end zone at least once. Why not twice? I'm rolling with him out west in Seattle. You're a good kid, Rock. I know what's going on.
Sorry, guys. I had to. Our Photon came back and gave us the cards because I'm gonna have to cut up some basketball highlights tonight. We got some good games, but my ride or die for this week is what's that?
You're a good kid.
Yeah,
Just
good
letting
kid.
you know
Go ahead.
Thanks, guys. Thanks. Appreciate it. Thanks. My ride or die for this week is going to be CeeDee Lamb. Back-to-back weeks with 14 or more receptions. Back-to-back weeks with 14 or more targets, and back-to-back weeks with 11 or more receptions. So he's had double-digit receptions back-to-back weeks. The Giants, they just gave up 30 to the Raiders. So I know the Giants-Cowboys rivalry. It can sometimes. What's that?
You have me intrigued.
Oh yeah, the Giants-Cowboys rivalry. Sometimes it can go either way. I don't see it going either way in this game, and I see CeeDee Lamb getting as involved as he's been the last 2 weeks. So I say that because I need him to do that for my fantasy team. But for real, just looking at the numbers he's put up, 41 fantasy points last week in our league, 27.10. So 41 2 weeks ago, 27 last week. last week against Philadelphia, I mean, he balled out. So I expect something similar against the Giants.
And that's it right there. That is it. I think that's all we got covered, just with everything going on. But hey, Brad, I know it went overboard, but this is the thing. We have a setup here, everyone, where we think, we might get some guys for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, but they stay as long as we want. If it changes the show a little bit, so be it. But those are our picks for our ride or dies and our dogs of the week. Brad, any other topics with that we're missing?
No, I just want to say, like, it's awesome, obviously, that you're friends with these guys, but like to get Dean Kremer and just have him, have him here and hanging out for 45 minutes. That's something that you don't get anywhere else, people. So if you're watching this show, there's more things coming, and I feel like even the bigger we get, that stuff is not going to change. So like, it's going to be pretty cool. So hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and hit that notification bells. We'll be live again on Monday, and it's going to get even more exciting. We have more guests coming on Monday. One may be football, one may be baseball. We'll have to see. But it's going to be fun, and I can't wait for next week. So make sure you guys are tuning in for that. Until then, have a safe weekend. Go Ravens. We'll see you next week.
Have fun at work, Rocco.
Yeah.
Good kids all around. Thank you, everyone.
I'm going to go home and watch
Hold
Thursday Night
me
Football.
now.
You have a good one.
Go to hell, Zach.
I'm 6 feet from the edge, and